The 150th anniversary of Gettysburg is a really good time to reflect on the role that photography played during the Civil War and has continued to play in our experiences of war today. It was really a time when photography came into its own as both a mode of documenting events and also as a way for people to recognize and understand the complexities and trauma of the war itself. One of the ways it was used was as an aid to memory. So for example, photographic portraits were really important in that time because people could leave their loved ones with an image of themselves as they went off to battle, and that helped them remember that person, think about that person, and look forward to seeing that person hopefully again. And also, families would send photographs with soldiers, again, for the same purposes. That idea that if you kept the photograph of somebody close to you, it was almost like having them with you. Photography also became a really powerful means of documenting the effects of war itself. So photographers essentially followed very closely on the heels of battles and documented camp life. They documented the scenes where battles had taken place, and very powerfully they also documented the war dead themselves. So with the Battle of Antietam in 1862, and then very powerfully with the Battle of Gettysburg in 1863, you have photographers very explicitly documenting the effects of the war in terms of showing us images of the war dead. When we think about the way we experience war today, what's striking to me is that some of the conversations we're having aren't really all that different from some of the ways that people responded to photographs after Gettysburg. In particular, there is still an anxiety about what it means to show the bodies of the war dead. And there's concern on the one hand that representing the dead is one very important way to show people what war actually is. At the same time, I think today, perhaps even more than during the Civil War, there's an anxiety that with the way that media circulates so quickly today, that the photographic representation of war dead will constitute a violation of privacy of those dead soldiers and of their families. And so one of the differences between the way that photography was engaged in the Civil War and today is that there's a much more explicit articulation that photographs of the war dead belong to the families and to that deceased soldier. Whereas in the Civil War, it was much more framed as this is something the public can see and consume.